I've played a lot of games, and I've got even more I'm yet to play. In fact, I have just over 300 platinums planned as of this recording. So, when I play through a game, it takes something special to make me want to revisit it later down the line and experience it one more time. However, once in a while, there comes a series so unique and enjoyable that I just can't resist picking up that controller for yet another spin. And no franchise speaks to me this way more than the Kingdom Hearts series. A franchise filled with multiple iterations of the same mechanic, a huge cast of beloved characters worldwide, and so many spin-off games that it took 14 years after the second official title for a third to finally release. While I may have only seen 2 of these titles through to the end, today's focus goes entirely to where it all began, Kingdom Hearts 1. In my previous casual playthrough, I managed to get 43 of the 56 total trophies, most notably, Undefeated for never using a continue, Speedster for beating the game in under 15 hours, Synthesis Master for synthesizing every item possible, and all of the Olympus Coliseum Cups, bar for the hardest fight in the entire game, which I will get onto later. With only 12 trophies remaining between me and the Platinum, will I be able to master this game at its 6 out of 10 difficulty and recommended 130 hour playtime? Let's find out and get to the first stage of this Platinum, the first rerun. I won't go into detail about this game's story, as my god does it get convoluted, but long story short, you play as Sora, who is bestowed a Keyblade out of nowhere when his home world is attacked by darkness. His job is to venture across different worlds, sealing keyholes that the darkness uses to sneak through and steal each world's heart, using different monsters called Heartless, while searching for his best friends Riku and Kairi, who both went missing when his world was taken over. Fortunately though, we're not alone, as we have Donald and Goofy to help us along the way, as we help them look for King Mickey, who's also gone missing. Together we fight against the Heartless and a range of classic Disney villains to restore the light to each world and find Riku, Kairi and Mickey before it's too late. While my first run's main focus was to clean up all the grindy trophies I missed initially, I also thought it'd be smart to go for unchanging armor, as I would be playing on the easiest difficulty. This meant I would not be able to change any of Sora's, Donald's or Goofy's equipment at any point until I had beaten the final boss. So I set off through the different worlds on my gummy ship, sealing all the keyholes and killing all the assholes, until eventually, after 20 long hours of grinding, I arrived at the final boss, Ansem. Silverhead, Sephiroth, B-Tech looking ass, nudist looking ass, bloodshot eyes looking ass, Jojo stand looking ass, pushing me back looking ass, Spirit Destiny looking ass, no bulge in his pant because his too small looking ass, the hole in the mouth and the titties looking ass, get behind him and wail in the back of his head looking ass, nearly on his final health bar looking ass, no emotion in his face looking ass, PS2 era graphics looking ass, almost dead looking ass, wailing on his ass without any consequence looking ass, trying to laser me as a lost offense looking ass, give me that trophy looking ass. And just like that, Ansem was defeated, ending the first story's playthrough and giving me unchanging armor. With the story done, I could start looking forward to the completion aspect of the game, setting my eyes on Record Keeper for completely filling out Jiminy Cricket's journal. This journal is split into 6 separate aspects that I had to 100%, those being Chronicles, Ansem's reports, characters, 101 Dalmatians, Trinity List, and minigames. The Chronicles will be pretty much complete themselves as you play through the story, so I began officially with the remaining 3 Ansem reports. The first of which was in the possession of an optional boss in Agrabah called Kurt Zisa. So I went to go chat, taking him down in just a single attempt, before going for the next page that I would find in the hands of the mysterious unknown boss in Hollow Bastion. Knowing I was underleveled, I went to grind up a bit and got a little bit carried away. Ah! Level Master! My bad! But I did get the Ultimate Weapon, which is pretty cool, right? But even with these huge buffs, I struggled to best the unknown boss, until I was eventually blessed with the run I needed, and was able to take him down with some well-timed arcanums and strike raids for the next Ansem report. Unfortunately though, the last report was with the hardest boss in the game, and the one I'm saving for the very end of this playthrough, so I moved on to the next category in the journal, characters. Unfortunately, same issue. So I skipped this too and headed off to find the single missing trinity I had left in front of the keyhole in Deep Jungle. With this done, all I had to fill out now was the minigames tab by completing a single cup with only Sora in the Colosseum. With the journal now at a roadblock, I decided to begin obtaining all weapons for each character. The only Keyblade I'm missing, once again, requires the secret boss I'm yet to do, so I moved on to the shop where I bought all available staves and shields, grabbed the Dream Rod from Merlin, went through the Hades Cup alone for Save the Queen Rod, and then grinded killing Wizard Heartless for the Wizard's Relic Staff, which completed Donald's weapon collection for Master Magician. I then moved on to Goofy, starting by going to various worlds to find white mushrooms for all of the magic arts, which I traded to Merlin for the Dream Shield, before beating the Hades Cup time trial for Save the King, earning Master Defender. At this point, all I could do was collect all Gummy Ship blueprints for Gummy Ship Collector, which required me to complete every mission on every route. This was the one thing that I didn't want to do, as the Gummy Ship segments are, in my opinion, the worst part of this game. But I went ahead and I got some of the easier blueprints first, and oh, turns out you don't need them all. Well, I'm embarrassed, but I can't say I'm not relieved, as now all I needed to do was grind some routes to eventually amass enough ship kills for a flying ace, and the time had finally come to take on the big bad of this game, Sephiroth. I'd been fearing this moment for the entire playthrough thus far, knowing the reputation he had as one of the hardest fights in the entire Kingdom Hearts series, and after giving it a try for myself, I can see why. I knew that if I had any chance of taking the one-winged angel of death, I had to get smart. And get smart I did. Upon thinking of a viable strategy, my mind instantly went to a key ability learnt early in the game, Strike Raid. This move allows Sora to hurl his Keyblade at any enemy, dealing a semi-decent amount of damage, but the key feature is that while doing so, Sora is completely invulnerable to any and all damage. With this in mind, I stocked up on elixirs and headed into the arena one more time and began throwing my blade as much as possible over and over through the fire and flame until he was down to 1 health bar left. And then I fucking did it! With this one move alone, Sephiroth was done, giving me Blade Master as well as the 4 other trophies that the big bad had been gatekeeping, leaving me with only one last step remaining, the proud playthrough. I started out feeling pretty good, choosing to keep the shield and reject the sword, before taking down the first mini-boss and waking up in Destiny Isle. I then got the first set of stuff for Kairi and went night-night, followed by me whooping Riku in a race and collecting more stuff for Kairi, before everything went to shit one last time and I wound up back in Traverse Town. I then found Donald and Goofy together taking out Mr. Chessboard over here and getting the hell out of there. Next stop, Wonderland, where I came bearing a gift. Death, which apparently the Queen of Shards hated so much that she literally murdered me for my first death of the run. Oh well, guess I'll go murder the LGBTQ candlestick before skedaddling off once more. This time we arrive alone in the deep jungle, immediately making a new friend, Bad Kitty, before reuniting with Donald and Goofy. It's here that we save some monkeys and get murdered by other monkeys, before fighting a literal man with a gun, very Disney, as well as of course his pet chameleon, which we defeat after a tough fight, ending with me sealing our first keyhole and heading for the next world. Olympus Colosseum, now with extra Danny DeVito. This was fortunately a short one, requiring me to do some training before entering a short tournament, and wow, that is a big dog. Not enough to make Cloud happy though, since he did try to whoop my ass after all, so I think it's best we head home for now. Back in Traverse Town, we said hello to Merlin, got murdered by some flying boys, got the Gizmo shop up and running, spoke to Leon who gave me my first summon, and ran into Riku, before then having a rematch with Mr. Chess Set, now in Australian. Didn't put up much of a fight though, so I sealed the keyhole shut before moving on to the next world, Agrabah. Here we began by freeing Carpet, before running into Jasmine and rescuing Aladdin from a sinkhole. Together we return to beat up a pop scorpion that's taken Jasmine, followed by a big sand cat, Bad Kitty. gaining entrance to the Cave of Wonders, in which I fought Jafar, who whooped my ass the first time, only for me to nail him on the second attempt, with him finishing things off by turning into a genie himself. This didn't help though, as I was able to bring him down once more, escaping on carpet and heading on to the next world. Or we would've if I wasn't swallowed by a whale, but that's fine. In here we ran into Pinocchio and Geppetto, only for Pinocchio to run away, with us chasing after him, only to run into Riku, who helps us free Pinocchio from this thing. Riku then runs off again, and the monster returns even stronger than before, ending with us being puked out, and once again on the road to the next world. Thanks, I hate it! This is easily the worst world in the game, but I pushed forward anyway. After fighting off some jellyfish for Ariel, we visited King Triton before visiting Ariel's crib. We then got a little help from a finned friend to pass through a current, and nab an emblem from a chest which we place inside Ariel's grotto, only for it to get immediately destroyed. We then seek out Ursula, who we messed the fuck up, only to have to do it all over again, which fortunately I managed to do first try, sending her to the depths and letting me seal the keyhole and finally get the hell out of there. And it's starting to get spooky! In the lab we found the professor and Jack doing an experiment, but they were missing some components. So we hunted down Sally for memory and got surprised from the mayor. And with the heart now complete, it's ripe for stealing, courtesy of Boogie Woogie's little henchmen. Of course, we hunted them to Boogie's manor, where we confronted them, and then headed on to the main man himself. And let me tell you, he went down fast, opting to turn into the house, which we then tore down, revealing the keyhole for us to seal, moving on to the next world. Neverland. Here we met Peter Pan, together exploring the ship, before finding a shadow version of myself, which once defeated, allowed us to rescue Wendy, making our way onto Pulverizing Hook, and finishing things up by returning Wendy back to London with Peter, sealing the keyhole, and giving chase to Riku, all the way back to Hollow Bastion. Upon arriving, he stole my Keyblade, thanks for that, leaving me to fight our way back with the help of Beast, and eventually taking it back with the power of friendship, and fighting Riku, only for him to run away, and us to carry on through the castle, running into Maleficent, and taking her down, only for her to turn into a dragon, and beat my ass. Luckily, I aced it on my second attempt though, and moved on to fighting Riku once more, nailing it on my first try, before becoming the grooviest Heartless, and returning back to Traverse Town one last time. I instantly headed back to Hollow Bastion though, and entered the dark depths where I fought Behemoth, and sealed the keyhole, leading me to the final destination, World's End. Finally here, I slowly made my way through the desolate lands, fighting countless Heartless, reaching Shenabog, and whooping his ass before finally reaching Ansem for the final time. I began smashing through his phase 1, before unfortunately dying to phase 2, but I got right back up, whittling him down, and moving on to the final phase. I whooped him once, saved Goofy, beat his pee-pee looking thing, saved Donald, and whooped him some more, before ultimately ending up in this very moment. Fucking easy! Piece of absolute piss. And with that, our journey is complete.
Yes!
Crab player! That must mean...
What?
Yeah!
Yo!
Kingdom Hearts Master. My next goal is arguably not only the hardest platinum in the series, but the worst game too, Chain of Memories. So if you want to see that, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.